I went to my little sister and I said, Gina, we have a problem with the podcast. We don't film it. So, in order to compete with other podcasts that film with like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and what's the YouTube Shorts, we need something. So I was like, could you draw some like little chibis? Because she does these chibi arts. And so I was like, could you draw like a couple of images for that so that way we can compete with the other podcasts? And she was like, sure. And I was like, great, and I'll pay you. And she was like, how much? And I was trying to think of a price. And I set the price. And then she was like, I'm pretty sure I owe about 30 or 40 bucks or so for electric last month. And she was like, if I just if you would just let me not pay that, I'll do it for you. And I was like, deal. Girl math.
Girl math.
I just got us free drawings. Girl math.
Free art.
Free art. Girl math.
Please pay artists.
Yes, pay your artist.
Pay your artist.
I am technically paying her.
Yeah, there is compensation.
but it's basically free.
Alrighty. Well, welcome to the Feminine Byte. I am Emily, a co-host, and I am with my other co-host, Erin.
Hello. And Echo.
And Echo, sweet girl. And we are here to talk today about girl math. My favorite type of math, the only math that I can do.
I had to take remedial math courses in college. This is all I understand, and I'll still mess it up.
I only took like the first math class, and then I became a comm major. So I didn't have to take any math classes after that.
Do you want to know the sweetest thing? You know some professors that are like just a little bit above and beyond?
Yes.
I was a Mag D minor, and I specifically chose the comm Mag D minor because you didn't have to take math classes.
Yeah, period.
So, I take my remedial, and then I take the dumb kids math class because I'm bad at math. But the professor emailed me, and he was like, hey, I noticed that you're a Mag D minor. This might not be the correct math class. And I was like, bless you for, checking your students as minors to make sure that they're in the right math classes. But also, right. No, sir, I'm an idiot.
Please.
I'm stupid.
Listen, if there is a stereotype that I can't fulfill, it is that I am an Asian who is terrible at math. And I'm proud of it. I still can't drive, but I'm proud that I can't do math.
Can I ask you, a racist question? Were your parents, be good at math?
My parents were frustrated that I didn't understand fractions in middle school. But I think they weren't, I don't think that they ever were like, oh, God, there goes her chances of being a doctor.
That's good.
So, yeah.
My mom, she had realistic expectations for her kids in terms of education, which was really nice, which is she paid attention to what subjects we were excelling in and what subjects we weren't excelling in, and she only had, education, interventions when the classes that we normally excelled at were falling. So, if I was getting D's and C's in math, my mom was like, well, D, she would have an intervention, but if I'm getting C's in math, she was like, but she's passing, and that's what matters there. Mm. But if I was getting a C in English, my mom would sit me down at the kitchen table, and she's like, so, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, Mom, it's phonics. They're teaching me how to spell. I'm bad at it.
I'm bad. So, where do we want to start with girl math? I feel like, should we just kind of go about the evolution of the topic?
What piqued your interest?
That's a great question. The reason that I wanted to do girl math specifically was because I thought it was a really funny meme.
Yeah.
B, I use it all the time. I just never really had, a name for it.
Yeah.
But also, out of it, it just became such a weirdly... if you fell into the more niche places of the internet, it became, weirdly controversial.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand both sides. Like, I understand the criticisms of it, and I understand what the joke is.
Yeah.
And I use the joke frequently. But, yeah. So I think I just wanted to have an open place to, like, fully, like, dive into, like, exactly my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So, um, so girl math kind of became a branch off of girl dinner.
Yeah.
So there's a TikTok that like TikTok sound that went around that was like, "This is my meal. I call it girl dinner."
Girl dinner.
Girl
Girl
dinner.
dinner.
It's and that TikTok user, I will find her username. She's so funny, and all of her TikToks are like that, where she like overlays her own harmonies to make herself like basically make a choir out of herself. She's so funny. I think it's Karma Car.
Even if
So
you're wrong, we'll put the correct person in
yeah,
the description. I cite as many sources as we bring up. I try to put them all in our YouTube description.
yeah.
So that way nobody could be like, you're wrong. I'd be like, all of my sources are cited.
Fact checked.
The amount of links that are in the Don't Worry Darling podcast episodes, like everything that you said, I found an article that also said it. So I was like, yep, here's this, this.
Here are our citations.
There's links to like Florence Pugh's purple outfit that you mentioned. Like I found a link for that.
Hell
like,
yeah. Per. So yeah, so it was and that trend was specifically like girls, like women in either late teens, early 20s, that age range, talking about, you know, when they're not feeling like cooking or anything like that. They are just gonna basically eat snacks for dinner. And that kind of turned into the dark side of it is that it turned into like this like promoting disordered eating or whatever. Where it was like this girl, like a girl's girl dinner is like 2 almonds and a banana. Or
yeah.
it was like just like, you know, genuinely like kind of unhealthy food, like a full frozen pizza.
Yeah.
So there was kind of a dichotomy there.
Especially since it just started out as like, sometimes you just don't have the energy to cook and you just scrounge around.
Yeah, sometimes you just eat a baguette with butter.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's but from that trend, then we started using girl for like as an adjective for a lot of other things. And the most popular of that was girl math.
Yeah.
And girl math specifically is about, again, women late teens, early 20s who use specific rules of logic in order to justify purchases.
Yeah, typically luxury purchases.
Yeah.
It evolved to be, well, I mean, it evolved to be nothing even about math and was just
like, yeah.
just
So
like it almost became a synonym for stereotype.
it became like, oh, girl math is when, I'm trying to think of a good example. Girl math is when you
You take the product from the back because it's
Mhm.
freshest, and it's like that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with math.
Girl math is you pack more underwear like you're gonna shit yourself every single day
Yeah.
when you're only going on like a weekend trip.
Yeah.
So like it like my notes say I have arrows of girl dinner to girl math to boy math, which I'll get into boy math, to just chaos.
Yeah.
Because that's where it really just like became like not math anymore.
Yeah, it stopped being math.
So,
You wanna know what Bible math is?
what is Bible math?
Creating the world in 7 days.
And 6 long nights.
Bible math is feeding a crowd of like 10,000 with like 5 fish and 2 loaves of bread. And then it devolves. Bible math is just turning water into wine.
Oh.
Bible math is cursing figs because the fig tree didn't have any figs, so you're mad that there's no figs. So you're like, fuck you, figs. And then your best friends are like, that was so funny, Jesus. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put that in a book. And we're gonna not let anyone forget that you got mad that there were no figs, that you cursed an entire fucking tree. Bible math.
Bible math.
I would hate to be Jesus' friends. They wrote his book and they kind of made him out to be a bit of an asshole. Anyways, back on topic.
Yes. So girl dinner became girl math, and then obviously the men started getting involved.
Yeah, because as soon as girls have something,
yeah, men want to just like rip it away from us. And so they started getting, then that's when they started using girl math to like talk about stereotypes of toxic women. And then women were like, "Oh, you want to talk about toxic stereotypes? Okay, well," and then boy math was born.
Boy math was like dropping a bomb on Nagasaki. They were like,
Yeah.
Don't poke the bear, and they went, I'm gonna poke the bear, and they went, don't poke the bear, and they went, I'm gonna poke the bear, boom, bomb. I bet you look stupid.
Yeah, like boy math is wanting an open relationship so that you can fuck other girls, but then getting mad that your girlfriend is fucking other guys.
Yeah.
Boy math.
Boy math is saying you're 6 feet tall when you're actually 5'11".
Yeah. Boy math.
Boy math.
And then it kind of divulged into like everybody and like any and all demographics like wanted to have their own version of math.
Yeah.
So it just became
Asian math, Italian math.
Yeah, queer math, autistic math, like it just became all of these things.
Yeah, and then it wasn't even about math. It was just like, these are things that, is prevalent in Asian culture. These are things that autistic people do. And it's like, well, that's not math.
Yeah. Those are just like habits or like commonalities that these people have.
And then with some of the ones that were like cultural math, we circled back to every ethnicity thinks they invented putting plastic shopping bags in a plastic shopping bag.
Yeah.
They were like, because I think the video showed it was like Asian math, which was pulling the thing from the back, like in a store. I was like, everybody does that, and everybody's an idiot for doing it, because store workers, here's the thing, retail workers have to rotate products.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the ones that you're getting in the back are untouched, but they are the oldest.
Okay.
So you get the ones in the middle.
My Asian defense is that I at least do it with specifically like refrigerated grocery store products. I will go from the back. Because if you think about it, if you are like say you're grabbing milk, the milk in the front has been the one that's been exposed to changing temperatures the most.
Yeah.
The way that milk is like stocked in a grocery store.
Yeah.
So you always want to choose the one from the back because that is the one that has been in the fridge the longest. That's my Asian defense.
For me, it's wild with groceries because I was like, it doesn't matter. When it comes to like things that are not groceries, like cups, t-shirts, whatever's, those things, that I understand pulling from the back. They don't rotate those ones.
Yeah. And of course with girl math as well. There were criticisms of it from any gender. I feel like a lot of men were just saying that it was stupid. Like these rules, these are arbitrary, like this logic doesn't make sense.
Not all men. One man. We'll get to that man.
We'll get to the one man. And there were, a few feminist circles that were kind of, and they do have some, the argument does holds value of
perpetuating things.
Yeah, perpetuating that women are dumb, they're frivolous spenders, a little bit kind of overlap into the criticism of like bimbo feminism.
Yeah.
Of, claiming that we're stupid and bad at math or like not good with our spending actively perpetuates that we are incapable of doing things. Which, yes, but I also, from my own perspective, I just, like, I know I do these things anyway. I don't think that it it holds a ton of weight in terms of how I exist as a woman.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, you know, a funny way to be like, oh yeah, like, I'm just bad with money.
Yeah. That's so wild, because when I was, like, experiencing girl math on TikTok and things like that, I never got the impression that these girls were bad with their money or bad with math. It just seemed like they were trying to convince themselves to get a purchase, which to me, as someone who is good with her money, according to everyone except for my ex,
Because you bought soap.
because I bought soap that one time to a botanical garden he took me to. When you hit the phase of trying to justify the purchase, that means that there is a chance that you don't buy it. And that is, to me, a sign of financial responsibility. Now, if you do girl math and you buy it every single time, right, then you're getting into financial irresponsibility.
Yeah.
But, like, if you are at a store, you see your shirt, and you're like, wow, I like that shirt, and you're like, should I buy it? Should I not? And you are sitting there doing math in your head to figure out if this is a good purchase, that is financially responsible. I don't care if men thinks that the hoops that we jump is stupid or whatever, but it's like the fact that you are stopping and thinking, that says a lot.
Yeah.
Because men will buy women, those stupid, like, soap kits that they sell at Christmas time?
Oh, yeah.
Men buy those for their girlfriends and their wives and their daughters. And I've never met a woman who's ever wanted one.
Yeah.
Like, men, you have no idea how to shop for us. Don't pretend that you're better with your money. You don't spend money because you don't know how to shop.
Right, yeah.
And that's because patriarchy basically said that shopping is emasculating.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's just like women have held so much buying power just in society that it's you can't wrap, like, I mean, I guess I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but it's like when we control this specific facet of the economy in this way, why criticize the logic?
Yeah, and it as we were getting prepared for this podcast episode, I sat down to sort of think about things that women buy versus things that men buy. And I think it has something to do with, like, Western society pushing specific ideals that men are basically mentally conditioned to only buy things that are useful. And so everything that is gendered male are things that are useful. Power tools, houses, wood, lumber, like Home Depot. Everything you find in Home Depot is catered to men. But women buy couches and pillows and art and paintings. They have to decorate the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, the guest room. They have to spend more money because those things have been, by Western society, have been gendered as female. So it's again, it's not that men are better with their money. It's just that you have been socialized to believe that nothing you buy can just be pretty.
Yeah.
It has to have a purpose.
Yeah, you have to have some utility.
So I think women are saving the arts.
Period.
Because we are constantly like, let me buy art and decorations and things, and we want things to look beautiful.
Well, yeah, and I feel like, too, it's like...
That's not to say men don't have style. My friend Samuel did buy, like, fake live, laugh, love signs from me, except for they were the words to the Bionicle thing. I don't remember what the 3 Bionicle words are, but he wanted those in live, laugh, love fonts.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Samuel's got style.
Well, and, like, you can also just see that with I don't want to be stereotypical and be like, oh, a feminist podcast talking about Taylor Swift. But you can't ignore...
I'm gonna mention Taylor Swift.
Okay, cool. Like, you can't ignore the absolute economic impact that the Eras Tour has had on our economy. The Renaissance Tour that Beyonce's just releasing that movie, that is causing cash flow.
Yeah.
In like their tour, in Beyonce and Taylor Swift tours, in the movies that they're releasing about the tours, the merch, like all of that is creating cash flow. And you can't just sit here and ignore that and be like, "Oh, women are so bad at spending their money." Clearly we're creating empires for people.
Yeah, and it's also just unfair because it's like, wow, women are terrible at spending money, but it's like, yeah, but we have to, if we don't decorate everything, people will point it out. Like, I think my apartment looks fairly ugly. Like, in my opinion, it is clearly the apartment of someone who has never really thought about decorating it. And I want to decorate it and I want to make it look nice, and we're taking steps to make it look nice, but it comes with spending a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah. Like, my apartment right now is, I mean, it's not... I'm not gonna sit here and say it, like, I'm an interior designer. It's covered in anime shit.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's be very clear.
Your apartment has a net worth of at least $2,000.
when I went to go, like, get renter's insurance, I, like, try to think of, like, all of my figures and all of the art and all of the books that I have bought that have now filled my space.
Yeah.
And, like, granted, it doesn't look great. Like, an interior, like, Home Goods is not gonna come into my apartment and be like, oh, she's a designer, and, like, I'm the next Bobby Burke or anything. But it's decorated.
Yeah. A
little bit of backstory. I have a roommate now who moved in, like, a year and a half after I had moved in. I have been very settled in that apartment, and I could make room for him to decorate the way that he wants to, but truth be told, he doesn't decorate.
Yeah.
Because if you look into his room, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's just the things that he uses.
Yeah. Like, when I was gonna get him a birthday present, I was getting him art.
Things to
put on his wall.
Give him a space to do that. Because he won't buy it himself.
Yeah, because he's very practical with his money. And here's the thing. Not buying decorative things is fine, right? Nobody is actually shading me for the way that my apartment looks. It doesn't look good. I mean, there is an Among Us plushie that is hanging on the wall, and it's holding one of my rosaries because I don't want to put in another nail in my room to hang up my third rosary. There's also a rosary in the bathroom because I'm too lazy to go put nails next to my other rosaries, so I just walked around my house and was like, where are nails? And I just stuck them.
But, like, if, like, say, you find a nice piece that's in your price range at, like, Marshall's or something, like, and again, this might be contradictory, but, like, you can use it somewhere in your home.
Yeah.
You can justify that purchase, and that doesn't make you bad with money.
No. Wanting to live in a beautiful place filled with things that you like should be fine. I'm pro knick-knack culture. I used to be very anti-knick-knack, but now I'm like, no.
I love my knick-knacks.
Nick the knacks. Nick all of the knacks.
This is our PSA. Buy as many knickknacks as you want. Because life is short to not have knickknacks.
Literally, get souvenirs everywhere you go. Buy the decorative soap at the gift shops.
A box for your trinkets.
My trinkets.
My trinkets. It's Trinketville.
Yeah, I have, like, my little precious moments set up over there.
Yeah. Like, if you are going to exist in this world, specifically in this economy, this American hellscape economy, chances are if you are in like, if you were around our age, like, mid-20s or so, it is going to be very hard for you. I'm just being realistic. It's going to be very hard for you to buy a house.
Now, there was a new study that said 99% of the Americans are priced out of buying a home.
Yeah, it's going to be very unattainable for a lot of our people our age to buy a house. It's going to be unattainable to do a lot of things that cost a lot of money that people historically used to save up for.
Yeah.
Like houses, cars are getting more expensive, travel is getting more expensive.
But pay is not going up.
Yes.
And it's because there's so much money in these billionaires' bank accounts.
Right. So why my rationale for buying a lot of the things that I've been buying recently, or like doing the things that I'm doing, like all of these concerts and shows that I'm going to, my justification is, well, if I'm gonna be here and making this money, why would I save it up if for a extremely unattainable goal when I could be doing it to do the things that I like and fill my life with joy.
Yeah.
It's that sounds maybe a little bit irresponsible. I've definitely gone a little bit harder than I probably should have. Like I do have, like, you can start thinking about like potentially retirement and things like that. Like you can, invest in those other areas too. But I think that there's a good balance between, you know, let yourself have a cute little knickknack from Target every once in a while. Get a little bird. Have you seen the little birds at Target?
No.
They're so freaking cute. They're very round. I will not go on a Target bird tangent, but it just is like
not to bring up my Among Us plushie for the third time. I'll have to put a picture up. I love that thing. Like, you cannot tell, that thing is hand crocheted.
It's really cute.
One of the girls that I used to work with as an RA, she started crocheting and she was like, I'm open up for commissions, and I was literally like, could you make me an Among Us plushie? Because Among Us was like really popular at the time, and I wanted a plushie, and she was like, yes, it'll be $40, and I was like, that's a lot, but I really want this. And then I did not tell my ex how much I spent money on it, because he would have reamed me out if he knew how much money I spent on that.
Mm-hmm.
He would have reamed me out. I mean, he would ream me out now if he knew that, like, the thing that's getting me out of bed in the morning to get to work on time is that I get to go to the coffee shop and get a chai tea and a muffin. And it cost me about $10 to get all of that stuff. But I do it.
You spent, like, less than an hour of your hard work.
And it's like, yeah. Sometimes I go without the muffin. Sometimes I get a smaller cup, so it's not always $9. But it's like, that's the thing that's getting me out of bed in the morning, and it's getting me to work on time. And I feel like if it's serving that purpose, then it's a good purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Versus him, who would be like, you should just get up in the morning.
Right.
And then you wouldn't need to do that. And it's like, well, yeah, if I could just get up in the morning, I wouldn't be in this mess. But the problem is that I'm an insomniac who does not want to get out of, once I am finally asleep, I don't want to get up.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me so long to get there. Like, dude, I need to go one episode without bitching about my ex.
Right. I think, like, especially, like, if it's a hobby or something that helps motivate you to get through your day, your week, your month, if it's, few bucks here and there, why not?
Yeah, it's not, a lot of people have been doing math on how much money it takes to, if you spent like $5 on coffee every day, how much money you'd make in a year, and they were like, this is how much, and that's still not enough for a down payment for a house, so just buy your coffee.
So that kind of gives us a good segue into the different types of ways that we use girl math in our day-to-day.
Yeah.
And so I also wrote down, like, some of the kind of, like, stereotypical ones. The biggest one for me that is, if I pay in cash, it's free.
Yeah.
Which I know economically, of course, it's not free. But it's not, the logic behind that is that I am not taking money out of my bank account.
Yeah.
Or I'm taking that taking cash out of my bank account. If it's already out of my bank account, what do I, need that for? And I think part of that is from, I think part of that kind of comes from, some rooted childhood memories of, you get, maybe an allowance or you get birthday money or something like that. And obviously, when you're a kid, you want to spend that money.
Yeah.
In some way. And, when I was a kid, when my parents opened up a bank account for me when I was like 13. So when I started working and putting money in there at 15, like that was the money that I wasn't allowed to spend. But every week I could take out, $50. Oh, well, that's my spending money for the week. So it doesn't really count as
real money.
Which I know, like, everybody listening, I know that is not, like, I know that it is real money. I'm just saying it has no effect on my bank account. If I return something, I am making money.
Yes.
So, because there is a positive. A lot of this just revolves around the effect of the bank account, in my opinion. Spending, this one's kind of funny. Spending more money to get free shipping saves you more than just paying for the shipping.
Yeah.
Because the logic behind that is I'm getting more out of that price than I would have if I just, like, I got $7 more worth of more stuff.
Yeah.
Than just paying shipping.
Yeah. I bought something recently, and it was really funny because it's the first time that I've ever used, like, a YouTuber's, like, sponsorship code.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I was like, I don't even know if it'll work anymore. But I used it, and it worked, and it was, like, a 30% discount. I was like, great. But when the shipping was added, I basically saved maybe $10.
Mm.
And I was like, I feel like this discount was not worth it. But if they would have just been like, free shipping, I would have been like, sold.
Yeah. 100%.
Why does it work that way? Oh.
The one that I use frequently, because I am a frequent show goer, is if I buy tickets for a concert or something, and that concert is not for months. Like, I bought Fall Out Boy tickets. Fall Out Boy, that concert's not until April. Once I go to that concert is free because I've already made up all of that money back. And that kind of goes the same way for, like, vacations. Like, if you book a vacation so much in advance and you remake that money, if somebody Venmos you for something, you're making money.
Yep. When my sister pays her party the electric bill, it's under my name, so I pay the bill, and then she Venmos me her half.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically feels like I'm getting paid, even though that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
And then if I forget to clean out my Venmo, it's like, oh wow, there's like $50 in here. That's like finding $50 in your like pocket when you do laundry, even though that's not what that is at all.
If something is on sale, especially if it's over 50% off, I am more inclined to buy it at that sale because at that point I'd be losing money if I bought it at regular price.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, why would I pay for, like Bath and Body Works is a really good example. When they have their sales, their, like, hand soaps are $2.50, their body washes are like $4. Why would and their regular prices are like $15 for a body wash. If I don't buy that body wash when it's $4 and then I buy it for $15, I'm out $9 extra. Like, that's,
Yeah. I find that more prevalent in, like, the gaming world, which is weird, because, like, we don't really associate femininity with video games, even though Ada Lovelace was the first computer programmer, and y'all can get fucked.
Get fucked.
But especially on Steam, if you want to buy a video game on Steam, which is the computer client that most people use, just put it on your wish list and wait because it will go on sale. You just have to be patient. And sometimes I'm not patient. There's a game that I bought full price recently because I was so excited for it to come out. But like, yeah, if you're just patient enough, you can get it on sale. Because first of all, buying video games at full price in this economy, $60, $70 for a game? Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Like at this point, sometimes it's not the sale that is, it's not a steal. It means I can actually get it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. My favorite one that I like to use a lot is not necessarily like, it's not necessarily illogical, but I think that it's a really interesting thing that a lot of women have done, um, is figuring out cost per wear.
Yeah.
Especially like specifically like clothing or purses or stuff like that. So I did this fairly recently, because I wanted, I wanted a nicer purse. And I've been looking at Kate Spade bags for pretty much my entire adult life. But Kate Spade is expensive. Except if you go to their outlet store, it is slightly less expensive. So I was looking at a purse. It was about $100, which is expensive for a purse. But if you think about it, if I use that purse at least 100 times, which is only a third of a year, I will be using that purse. The cost of using that purse is $1 per use.
Yeah. Wait, Gina.
What?
What's your favorite version of girl math?
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprise interview from my sister. Your favorite kind of girl math.
I guess it would be the one that I use the most of. Will I get paid next week?
Oh, that's so
I'll just buy
true.
this now because I'm earning the money next week.
I do that
It's
too.
bullshit. Don't do it. That's why I'm poor.
Me too.
Thank you. A word from our sponsor, Gina. Anyways, back to sorry. I wanted to catch her before she walked away.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I had a flashback the moment you said Kate Spade. Because the girl who my ex went on to marry, she was like obsessed with designer purses. So I actually know about Kate Spade purses. And like, this is a wild thing. This was originally going to be my unhinged opening. Because I was like, out of all the things when my ex was like, I'm dating this girl. The thing that my first thought, right, was not, wow, you're picking up someone so fast. I don't really care. Or, wow, it's your girl best friend. That was expected. No, the thing that my first thought, the shock was, she likes designer purses. You hate spending money. How is that gonna work? Yeah. That was my first thought.
That's funny.
Immediately was like, dude, you hate spending money on frivolous things, and that's her favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
And the girl he goes on to marry, don't care that you love Kate Spade purses. Love that for you. My problem is that he hates it. How is this supposed to work when I got yelled at for buying soap?
Right. Yeah. So
stupid as boy math.
Stupid boy math is saying that your girl best friend is somebody that you don't need to worry about, and then she's the next person that you date and then go on to marry.
Yeah.
That's boy math.
Anxiety math is when your boyfriend convinces you to have an open relationship, and then you say, okay, as long as it's nobody we know, because you're afraid he's gonna fuck the girl best friend, and then you break up, and then he fucks the girl best friend. You're like, good call, I made a good call.
Yeah.
You might be wondering, that's really specific. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I should say, my ex is many things. He was not a cheater. I don't want to call him something he's not. Sorry, continue.
He was patient enough to not be a cheater.
Yeah, like I will drag him for the things that he is. I refuse to call him anything he's not.
Yeah. One of my favorite pastimes with my best friends is to just like do the circuit of Target, TJ Maxx, and anything else that might be in the area, Goodwill, Starbucks, whatever. But that's a lot of the ways that, you know, because I tell my friends to hold me accountable because I want to spend less money. So if
I'm the worst. I'll enable. Emily will be like, should I get this? And I'll be like, yes.
yes.
I bought her a crystal cradle necklace for Christmas, and you know what that means? She's about to buy so many crystals.
I'm about to buy so many crystals. But, like, if we're in, you know, TJ Maxx, I find a shirt that I like. I'm like, hey, should I get this? It's not a hard yes or no. It's like, well, let's... It kind of goes back to the utility thing. Is like,
Yeah.
let's see how much you're going to use this
Yeah.
to justify this purchase.
Yeah, like a sweater that my ex's, like, aunt got me. I wore that thing into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice sweater. It was a little tacky, but I kind of loved it. It had a very 80s vibe. And I wore it to work so often that it evolved from the sweater I always wore to Aaron's work sweater because it was so gross. And then I finally hit a point where I was like, okay, when Walmart starts selling sweaters, I will buy myself a new work sweater because this is getting out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I still hesitated because I was like, but I could wear the ugly, dirty sweater that I cannot seem to get the dirt out of. But I was like, no, it's done. The girl is done. Put her to rest. And then Gina was like, cut it up, use it for, like, you know, stuffing for pillows and things like that. And I was like, no, this thing needs a Viking burial in the trash can. Like, she's done. I can smell on her.
Yeah.
I mean, the nondescript pizza place where I work. Public domain pizza parlor.
That's kind of the main ways that I use girl math. I'd be interested to hear, like,
How do you all use girl math?
yeah, how do you use girl math? If it's one of the ways that we've already talked about, if it's a different way. There are a lot of ones where, like, people would say it and I didn't necessarily use, so I didn't feel like I needed to include it.
Yeah. Give me your favorite this has nothing to do with math one version 2. I want your Bible math.
Give me that good Asian math.
Irish American math is when someone says is when other Christian groups say you're not Christian, and so Irish Americans go, okay, I'm not Christian, I'm Catholic. Irish American math. That's a real thing that you'll hear. It's not very common in the younger generation, like our generation, but my mom's generation and the generation before that, they literally say, I'm not Christian, I'm Catholic. Mm-hmm. Because the other Christian groups were like, you're not real Christians, and they went, okay.
Alright.
Power move. Okay, I also brought stuff about girl math, and I'm about to validate every single thing that you have said. You were, like, saying things, and I was like, I can't wait to get through this. So I went to the internet, because I had no clue. I just kind of put in some search things, because I didn't know where I was going. And I wanted to see if I could get some insight into the psychology of this phenomenon. So we're about to meet, you know, when they say not all men, they mean my boyfriend, Jesse Cox, and this man. Because this man is amazing, and I love him. His name, I might mispronounce it. I'm so sorry if I do. I believe it is Jadrian. Like, it's like Adrian with a J in front of it. Like, Jadrian Wooten. He's a professor at Virginia Tech, and he did this article about girl math. And he's like an economist. Like, that's what he does. So he's like a professor. He's got his things. Like, this is like a accredited source man, right? Mm-hmm. And he went and was talking about how girl math is basically something that's called behavioral economics. And one of the pioneers of this study is Richard Thaler. He has a Nobel Peace Prize for his research into money and human behavior. So if you're interested in some of this stuff about behavioral economics and girl math, I believe Richard Thaler is where you'd want to start. I don't have anything else about him, but if you're more interested, that's the guy to look up. So, in the article, Mr. Wooten, he goes into detail of several examples and what these things are and how it relates to girl math. So the first one is called framing. A marketing tactic that retail uses to get us to buy stuff is to just discount an item. but specifically discounting an item and showing the original price. There were like studies and things found that just lowering the prices doesn't affect people's desires for it. More people will buy it if you have the discount, but then you also have the original price. And then if you're scummy, like so many stores on Black Friday where you just flip it up and you realize it's the same price. That's what happened during Black Friday this year. That was amazing watching retailers get their asses handed to them. The reason why the old price is important is because we get anchored to that original price and we can sort of see the shift and change. Anchoring is the word that Mr. Wooten uses. So, and shady companies take advantage of this. There are stores that they're always on sale. Some stores are like perpetually always about to close, so everything must go. That's just a marketing tactic to get you to buy things. I believe Girl Defined on YouTube, they did like a scheme with one of their paid courses where it was like a limited time deal, but when the time ran out, it just started over.
Interesting.
It might be Girl Defined, it might be someone else. I watched a lot of YouTube videos about YouTubers like taking these trash courses that are being pushed by like red pillars and purity culture girlies and things like that, where they're just super expensive or they're fake deals or things like that. It's kind of insane. So there's some people who take advantage of it like that. Now, what Girl Math does is that she treats the difference like found money, as Emily explained. So if the original price is 10 and you get it for 5, you found $5. You consider it a steal. And more importantly, you see that the extra money could go to something else extravagant rather than going into your bank account.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now sometimes you do want to put it into your bank account. That's being smart. But
I will say, as we're talking about Black Friday and all of these sales and stuff like that, so I used to work at and I make it my main personality trait because what else am I going to get out of that experience? So what happened that we used as a sales tactic, if you people don't know, is a shoe store and all of its employees work off of commission. Garbage commission, by the way. But one of those performance indicators that we had to keep track of was how many socks that we also sold in congruence with the shoes. So, and I really hope I don't, like, if we get big enough where finds this corporate, I really hope I don't get a cease and desist for this. But you would have to sell one pair of socks per pair of shoes. But because the socks came in packs, if you sold one pack of socks, that covers, 5 pairs of shoes. But the thing is that socks are not easy to sell to people.
yeah.
Because people always have socks. And also, socks are not the cheapest. They're great socks, but not the cheapest. So what we used to do is we used to say, when we brought shoes out to our customers, be like, oh, by the way, socks are on sale for $10. $10 for 5 pairs, or $2 a pair. That's not a sale.
That's just their price.
Yeah, we just lied to say that they were discounted from like $13. And I felt grimy about it every single time I did it. Every single time.
Yeah, but in your defense, they gave you kind of an impossible thing to do.
Yeah. We also tried to sell more socks by creating a donation bin. Which we did donate those socks to, like, if we... This is kind of bad. But if we could kind of gauge if somebody leaned more right-wing, we would say that they were going to a veteran center, when really we donated them to, like, an LGBTQ homeless shelter. But, like, some of the shoes, too, are also weren't on sale, but sometimes you could say, oh, because we're getting a display shoe, I'll give you a 10% discount. And then there was an overall button that was labeled as a veteran's discount, but I shelled that out like it was fucking candy because it was the way that I got sales.
Yeah.
So, I've never felt this any slimier than when I worked at
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So, another thing that our lovely friend, mentions, which Emily also brought up, is that this is how girl math sort of turns around sunk cost. If you buy something for 10, you hate it, you return it, the money you get back is basically free money. Mr. Wooten says that this is like girl math, flipping the concept of sunk cost to justify spending that basically free money on just another luxury purchase. Because, like, in your mind, the money that you got from the return is quote unquote gone. It's sunk. It's not. But like the actual $10 in your hands is like, oh, that just gets to go to the next luxury purchase. Like the way that it's justified is, oh, the money is gone and it has to go to the next luxury purchase. Which is like girls just being like, sunk cost. Nah, man, we're pulling that ship up by its ropes. Another one is cash or credit. So Mr. Wooten says that there's emotional energy when it comes to paying cash or paying with card. And girl math takes advantage of the payment that is most emotionally distant to justify spending. So we've seen a lot of women see it as cash as the emotionally distant one. Emily mentioned that. I also see it as that. Some others see the electronic transactions as the emotionally distant one. I'm a cash girl.
Yeah.
At my public domain pizza parlor, my tips are very sporadic. And I'm not a tipped employee, meaning I'm not making like 233 plus tips. I'm making what I make, and then sometimes I get tips. So in my budget, I don't account for tips because they're sporadic. So basically, all of my tip money feels like free money because it doesn't go into my budget.
I was gonna say that I think that, like, I specifically made cash more emotionally distant to me, because if I did that with card and I just, like, swiped my card wherever I felt like, I would be so broke.
Yeah.
I'd be so broke. I'm already broke when I'm, like, consciously like, oh, I have to use my credit card, like.
Yeah. So the fourth, and I believe this is the final one. Yes, the final one is present bias. So present bias is the art of treating ourselves, typically as an act of self-care, in difficult economic times. We like it because, as Mr. Wood describes it, it's instant gratification. So basically, you know, me saying that if I get up to go to work, I get to go to the coffee shop and get a tea and a lemon poppy seed muffin. That is present bias. I am treating myself. I'm also bribing myself, but inherently I'm treating myself. And here's a quote from him. I have a couple of quotes, but this one I thought was really profound. And this is why I said that this man, you can trust this man with your drink at a bar. He says, sure, it may be better to store some of that money away in a savings account and enjoy more money in the future, but girl math becomes a tool for justifying luxury items as self-care, prioritizing our emotional well-being over long-term finances. And I like the fact that he framed it that, like, it's not stupid girls spending things badly. It's that they just have a different priority. They've accepted that long-term finance is unobtainable in this system, so they might as well enjoy life with some luxury purchases. Get your Kate Spade bag. Go to your concerts. Just, you know, be smart about it.
That's on period. I have citations.
Yeah, I like this dude. He's very pro girl math, and that's what I love about him the most. And he seems like very excited to talk about all of this stuff, and he doesn't demean it or make fun of it. And at the end of the article, which is this is what cemented him as, like, when men say not all men, this man is who we're referring to. He says, sometimes it's okay to give yourself a little treat. Girl math is a reminder that in moderation, little luxuries can add a splash of joy to our life.
That's right. That's right. Virginia Tech. Professor of Economics.
Jadrian Wooten, we love you.
We love this man.
One last thing. I still have things to say about him. The article that I read about this, there's only one comment on it, and I have to read you this comment and Jadrian Wooten's reply because he's so fucking savage. He woke up and decided that he would be the man to tell other men to fuck off and then let girls have, like, nice things.
Yeah.
Like, men, if you want to role model this man. So this is the person's comment. His name is Brian. And he says, I don't know whether to be offended that this reinforces a stereotype of women as hopelessly incapable of managing their finances, or saddened by the mass appeal of this 1980s-like materialism. I agree with the sentiment that treating yourself now and then is valid use of resources, but the clips posted here, admittedly a very small sample size, are hopefully not the guiding force behind decision making these days. If they are, then at least there won't be a recession anytime soon. Consumers will just keep spending until there isn't anything left to spend, then they will just put it on the cart. However, due to economic principles of trade-off, their handbags will have to be sold, maybe as 2020's retro, to fund the retirement they didn't save for. Will Girl Math save them when they're 85 and they're still working? You see, I took out the reverse mortgage on my handbag and paid it off the credit card, so now I have free money. And Jadrian Wooten, I love this man. His response was, you should ask your kids about it. While you're there, you can also ask them about girl dinner. And then a winky smiley face.
Wow.
That man really said, you don't get it. You're not worth my time to explain. Ask your kids.
Period.
Also, Brian, that's so funny. Will girl math save them when they're 85 and still working? Dude, how old do you think Joe Biden is?
Yeah. I think we're at the point too, like, we're already gonna have to be 85 and working. Like, Social Security, almost non-existent for us.
Yeah, there is nothing guaranteed.
Like, unless you start investing and continually invest from, like, the point that you turn, like, 20 until, however long, then maybe you'll have a retirement. But also, you have to think about the people who do not have access to financial literacy.
Yeah.
And are working, perhaps in food service, in blue collar jobs, in retail, that may or may not have specific retirement benefits for them.
Here's the thing. It's so funny because the Republican Party is against welfare. However, big businesses are pro-welfare.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your Walmart employee is on welfare, then you can pay your Walmart employee less money. Mm-hmm. And that means there's more money in the Walmart bank account.
Yeah.
So it's like the system is completely stacked against the everyday person, which is like why 99% of people can't afford homes. It's like the idea that we're going to be working at 85 is not from a lack of trying. It's because there's so much money in Jeffrey Bezos' bank account that we are all literally fighting for scraps.
Mm-hmm.
The best example I have this, which was a real life thing that happened to me, I don't know if I've explained this to you, but it's going to be new to our viewers, is that I had when I lived with my ex, and my ex had 2 roommates, so there was the 3 of them. Now basically, the dishes were communal, meaning that some dishes belonged to some people, but you could effectively just kind of take whatever you needed, right? So there was my ex who did dishes almost every day. There was the roommate who did dishes semi-regularly. And then there was the roommate who never did dishes. So what happened is that the roommate who never did dishes, his dishes pile would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then he would use more dishes. And as he used more dishes, and there were more dirty dishes in his pile, that is less dishes for the other 2 roommates to use. And it doesn't matter how many dishes the other 2 roommates clean. It is still not going to make up for the fact that one roommate is hoarding the dishes. Mm-hmm. And until he cleans them, they're just going to sit and be dirty and be useless. And sure, you could go to Walmart and buy more dishes. But then, what happens when the roommate who never does dishes sees those? He's going to use them. And they're just going to get stuck on his pile and never be used again. That is why billionaires are the problem. The billionaires are the roommates who have all of the dirty dishes. The money is not doing anything in that bank account. When you do dishes or spend money, it keeps things circulating. That's why billionaires are the problem. I solved economics.
Jeff Bezos, do your goddamn dishes.
These are the t-shirts or buttons we need to make, which is like, I need a Jadrian Wooten button and Jeffrey Bezos, do your dishes. Jadrian Wooten, he has his own newsletter, which is where I got this article. It's called Monday Morning Economist. I'll have this article and the newsletter linked in the description if you'd like to take a look at him. There's some interesting articles right now. There's one about the evolution of Black Friday. There's one about pumpkin pie. And he's even got one about, like, Taylor Swift and how, like, his article was something about, like, her she's not actually, like, producing millions and millions in like, economic growth. I assume that she's making some, but I didn't read the article. I just saw it and was like, he seems very dedicated in, like, talking about economic things in relation to pop culture, which is great. I'm assuming he has a girl math lecture in his economics classes. He seems like he would be a cool professor, so
Yeah.
I love that man. You're my favorite economist, which is saying a lot since most economists are like dude bros who are like, no man, soap was a waste of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jadrian Wooten. When we say not all men, it's just you.
It's really interesting to me that women are the ones that set this precedent of, like, what is popular in society,
Yeah.
and then society still continues to shit on it.
Yeah.
Because women just can't have anything.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about, like, how many millions of dollars Beyonce has made, how many millions of dollars Taylor Swift has made, like, think about, like, the most popular franchises and their fan bases. The Hunger Games, shout out to our next episode. Twilight. I mean, Harry Potter, like, is a little bit of a kind of mixed demographic, but, like, a lot of that popularity comes out of fan fictions. Who writes the most fan fictions?
Women.
You know, just some of those things that are monumental, like, pop culture moments are driven by women.
I've always held the belief that what is popular is determined by 14-year-old girls. Teenage girls decide what's cool and what's not cool, and then society makes fun of them, but they are also the people who are deciding it. And I honestly think it's just because teenage girls are ruthless. So, like, if something is ugly, they'll be like, that's ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And if they think something is cute, they'll be like, that's cute. And it spreads like wildfire.
I, like, have such a paternal, like, big sister type of love for, like, teen girls.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying so hard.
They're just trying to exist. Let them like Twilight. I have respect for people who like Twilight.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my thing. But, like, you know, like what you like.
I'm really conflicted about Twilight because, on one hand, Michael Sheen is in Twilight, but on the other hand, he has hotter roles.
At least Stephanie Meyer was trying to say something. Whether or not she succeeded is up to everyone's personal taste, but I respect Stephanie Meyer for having something to say.
I am strictly in Twilight for Michael Sheen, which is probably a hot take. And I'm not saying that I don't like Michael Sheen. Like, I am not saying that I don't like Michael Sheen in Twilight. I'm just saying that he has hotter roles. Like, Aro, not his hottest role. I personally don't like the greasy emo look, but I love Michael Sheen. Okay, anyway. Every episode, I should just be allowed, like, 30-second bursts. Like, okay, Emily, you can talk about one celebrity crush. You're allowed 30 seconds. Go.
You're fine. You're allowed to like what you like. It doesn't make you any less silly.
Yeah. I'm allowed to like what I like. You're allowed to like what you like. Within reason. As long as it's not, like, impeding on anybody's human rights.
Yeah. That should just be assumed, but in the day and age, we do have to make that distinction. Like what you like as long as it's not violating human rights.
Yeah. Buy the shit that makes you happy, as long as it does not violate anybody's human rights.
Yeah. Or at least try. Right? Sometimes you can't. Like, sometimes you have to buy stuff from Shein because you're poor. That was
Yeah.
the one thing I wanted to bring up is that,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
a lot of girl math is, like,
Let's talk about this.
it's, like, about being poor, you know? Like, when it came to girl math and all of this stuff, I was like, you know, as a poor person, like, this is how you save up for luxury items and things like that, is you have to really jump through some hoops to get everything. And, like, I don't know, with, like, Shein, I've bought stuff on Shein before, and I'm not proud of it, but at the same time, it's like, clothes are so expensive.
Yeah.
It's
really, really hard to shop ethically.
Yeah, they're like the phrase "there's no ethical consumption under capitalism." It's absolutely correct. Why? Because Jeff Bezos has all the dishes.
Because he has all the fucking dishes, man. Like,
if we got rid of fast fashion and mass-produced items, the economy would shift, and it would have to shift to a point where you could afford small business Etsy crocheted things and small business clothing things because they would be the only things available. And you know, maybe we don't. Here's the thing. Maybe we don't need mass produced things for everything. Maybe we don't need mass produced clothes. Maybe we don't. I don't know. It's just like I feel like clothes would be the easiest one. Where it's like if we stop mass producing, then we're no longer creating all of this waste.
When it comes to like talking about ethical consumption and things like that, like obviously, like if it is important to you where you're putting your money, absolutely. Like, but don't ever like give yourself some slack. Like you're never going to be perfect because the system that we are put into is not perfect.
Yeah. My sister when we talk about these things, I always bring up I'm like, yeah, but like 80% of pollution is caused by big business. So it literally does not matter what I do to like be more eco-friendly. It will not have an impact on the environment whatsoever.
It doesn't do it then.
In any meaningful way. And then you mix that with a depression disorder, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy the plastic forks. The plastic has already been made. Me not buying it doesn't affect that at all.
When I was working at and I feel like this is a decently good example of this. I worked in a very dead mall. There were only 2 or 3 food options, and a lot of the times they were not fast. So like I couldn't eat them on my breaks because they weren't fast enough. That's just point blank period. A lot of the times is like I just like didn't get a break period. Like the only times that I was able to eat was before I started work and after I started work. And the only place that I could go before I started work or after I started work was Chick-fil-A. So that being my only option, like the first couple of weeks that I started doing it, I did feel a lot of guilt for putting my money towards this corporation that actively fights against my rights as a LGBTQ person. But like, if it's my only option, I can't really feel bad about it.
Yeah, like sometimes it's easier. Like I don't go to Hobby Lobby. They like have stolen artifacts and stuff like that. Yeah. I go to my preferred Joann's. That's where I sell my soul to.
Yeah. But like it's just like sometimes you just don't have options. Sometimes
and it's okay.
And that's okay. Sometimes, if there are better options that are just out of your price range.
Yeah. Real change will begin to happen when things start collapsing. Because, basically the Republican Party has been saying the entire time that the way that we're going is fine because big businesses are being supported and that's what's stimulating our economy, even though literally everyone is saying big business is suffocating us. And it's also human rights violations because, in order for big business to succeed, you have to not be paying people a livable wage. and you have to exploit. So, like, what drove big businesses overseas was nothing but greed. They went overseas so that they don't have to pay their workers a livable wage because they can't do that in America.
Mm.
So the only person to blame for big business leaving is big business for the fact that they don't want to pay you a livable wage. And like in the European Union, like fast food restaurants like Burger King, McDonald's, they all get paid livable wages. They get health insurance. They get benefits. They get all these things because that's their minimum requirements to open up stores there. And it's like because America just won't get on the train that every paying job should be a livable wage.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to be continue to be abused by big business. And if your argument is that minimum wage jobs are for high schoolers, then why do they work during school hours?
Yeah.
If it was for high schoolers first jobs, then they would not be operating during school hours. Fact. This is a weird note to end on. I've run out of things to say.
I know, I kind of expected us to take this anti-capitalist turn. I didn't expect it at the end, though. So now I'm like, well, what do we do?
The economy is crumbling. Buy what you want. The world is ending. Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
We are all Sisyphus. We might as well be Sisyphus in Prada.
That's the next t-shirt.
The devil wears Prada? Nah, man, Sisyphus.
Sisyphus wears Prada.
Alright, this has been the Feminine Bite with your hosts, Aaron and Emily. My cats were kidnapped by my little sister because her friends are over. So Echo and Itzy are not here to say goodbye.
Guest starring Gina.
Gina and her friends.
The kidnappers.
The catnappers. We will see you next time where we're going to go talk about President Eminem. Oh, Echo, do you want to come and say goodbye?
Meow.
Say goodbye, Echo.
Echo.